Are you thinking about starting a business? You're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. About 5 million businesses were formed just last year. I teach economics and entrepreneurship, and I've had dozens of business ideas over the years, but I've only acted a few. Why? It's not that the ideas were bad. Most of them probably would have worked. See, the problem is, most people ask, is now the best time to start a business? The truth is, nobody can answer that except for you. But before you even start writing down your business plan, you need to ask yourself 3 fundamental questions. One of them is obvious. One, most people misunderstand or flat out lie to themselves about. But the last one, almost nobody even considers it, even though it largely determines whether your business will thrive one day or just fade away. If you can't answer yes to all 3, starting a business right now might be a huge mistake. But if you can, it might be time to take the plunge. Let's dive in. The first question you should ask yourself before starting a small business is, do you have access to the resources needed not only to start the business, but to maintain it until it makes a profit? And even then, just making a profit isn't really the goal. Are you going to be able to hang on long enough for it to make a profit sufficient enough that you can quit your job, sell a different business that you're involved, reinvest the time and resources that you do have so that you can continue to push the business forward? A lot of business owners get stuck in this stage. They might have the money to get it started. They might be able to find the time. But when those time and financial restraints run out, they end up at a dead end, and it can cost big. Most small businesses get started with your own personal savings. Sometimes you have to use credit. A lot of people borrow money from family members. Personally, I don't recommend this. There's no quicker way to make Thanksgiving awkward than to borrow money from your dad and not be able to repay it. Don't expect to be able to walk into the bank and get a big loan. You're not going to walk away with $50,000 or $100,000 unsecured to start your new business. You're going to have the resources up front to be able to, again, not only start the business, but be able to run it until it makes a profit and can pay for itself and retire you from your other job. So you answered yes to the first question. Now let's move on to the second. Do you actually enjoy what you're going to be doing? Now, this doesn't mean you have to be able to look forward to it and just get super excited every morning. That's rare. That's going to be really hard to come by. But let's say you can find at least an aspect of what you're doing that you are able to look forward to. It's going to make a huge difference. Why? Because if you don't, you're going to dread what you do. If you need to go in on a Saturday and do extra work, are you really going to want to? Are you going to wake up early, raring to go? Are you going to tell your family, hey guys, I'm going to see y'all in about 8 hours. I've got to go do some work. Or are you going to decide week after week, day after day, you know what? I'm going to just watch a movie. You know what? I'm going to go play golf. If you get to that point, your business is doomed to fail. People start a business because they love to cook, so they start a restaurant. Turns out they hate running a restaurant. It's not the same thing. You can enjoy cooking and be terrible at and hate running a business. So if you can't get in there and find something that makes you happy about what you're proposing to do, I would stop here. Period. The third question you should ask yourself before starting a small business, most people never even think about. And when I propose this to people that I consult, they're taken aback every single time. None of them have ever thought about this. Ask yourself, do you have a plan in place if things go worse than expected or if things go better than expected? You might be surprised by this, but most entrepreneurs have no idea what they're going to do if their business takes off and explodes. Let's assume you start a business and you're ramping up customers, you're ramping up revenue, you're doing everything right, business is going great, your friends are patting you on the back, everything's wonderful, right? What if it's so busy that you don't have a plan in place, that you can't actually put in the additional hours, you don't have the resources, the funds, or access to them to be able to push the business to the next step? Do you hire somebody? Do you take on a loan? Do you move places? What are you going to do? You don't want to be caught off guard by these things. I've seen businesses taken down to the ground, not because they were failures, but because they were so successful, yet unprepared for that success that they didn't know what to do next. And the dreaded question, what if things go worse than expected? How long are you going to hold on? What's your exit plan? What if your family all of a sudden says, you know what, honey, I love you, but this isn't working. Are you ready to hang up the towel? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. And you don't want to be caught off guard when the first time that question enters your mind is from somebody else's lips. What are you going to do? You might not have to have all the answers in place right away. Before you start, there's going to be unforeseen things. There's a 100% chance that you're not going to see everything coming. It never happens. But what you need to do is at least have some idea of what you're going to do, where you're going to turn, what decisions you can make when the time comes if things don't go as well as you hoped they will. Pray for the best, prepare for the worst, but don't get caught off guard Either way, things get ugly quick. Not when people make mistakes, not when people don't know what to do, but when people aren't prepared when things go differently than how they expect them to go. Answering yes to these three does not mean you've got a great business idea. Don't get me wrong, 95% of businesses still fail, and a lot of those businesses that fail could probably answer yes to these questions. You still have to do the overwhelming majority of things right for your business to be successful. But if you can't answer yes to these three, trust me, you're better off thinking of a different game plan where you can answer yes to all these three, or you might just have to wait. The circumstances might just not be right for you right now. So is now the best time for you to start a business? That's up to you. You need to start by asking yourself these three fundamental questions and make sure that the answer is yes to all three before you even go on to the next step. That doesn't mean you're going to have all the answers. Nobody does. Expect the unexpected, but be prepared regardless of what happens. That's the key to success. The last thing I'll leave you with, I've seen this over and over again in my life. People that are successful aren't lucky. It's not always that they have the best plans. It's not always that their business is brilliant. It's that they keep going. If a business doesn't work, sometimes you cut ties and move on, but you get up and you try another one. I know successful people that it took them 10 businesses to finally find the one that made them successful. Most people quit after one. In fact, most people never start. The difference between people that are successful and aren't successful isn't always that they have the greatest idea. It isn't always that they have the most money to begin with. It's not even always luck, but that does play a role in it. The difference between people that are wildly successful, people that are moderately successful, or people that aren't successful at all is generally how much fight they have in them. Are they going to quit when things start going wrong? Or are they going to keep on pushing through? If they get knocked down, do they get back up? Guys, I teach this to my kids all the time. My own kids and the kids I teach in class. If you can't get back up after you've been knocked down, I'm going to tell you right now, starting a small business is not right for you. Things are not going to go exactly as expected. But if you use these three questions, prepare yourself so that regardless of how things turn out, you've at least got a plan in place and you know that you're on the right track before you even begin. There's nothing worse than starting a race on the wrong track. I hope this is helpful. If it is, make sure and give me a like and subscribe, and I'll come back with some more content that I think is going to help you. Till next time, bye-bye. Are you thinking about starting a business? You're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. About 5 million businesses were formed just last year. I teach economics and entrepreneurship, and I've had dozens of business ideas over the years, but I've only acted a few. Why? It's not that the ideas were bad. I mean, most of them probably would have worked. See, the problem is, most people ask, is now the best time to start a business? The truth is, nobody can answer that except for you. But before you even start writing down your business plan, you need to ask yourself three fundamental questions. One of them is obvious. One, most people misunderstand or flat out lie to themselves about. But the last one, almost nobody even considers it, even though it largely determines whether your business will thrive one day or just fade away. If you can't answer yes to all three, starting a business right now might be a huge mistake. But if you can, it might be time to take the plunge. Let's dive in. But let's take it even a step further. Let's assume right now you're trying to start a new business because work is slow. Maybe you're not getting extra overtime. Maybe you're not making the money that you used to make. But what if that changes? If all of a sudden, 3 months from now, you're busier than ever, are you still going to have the time to devote to the new business? If the answer is no, again, you might need to reconsider now.